So when you're ready, coming to lie down on the mat and just resting your body. So, for those of you not come before, just joining for the first time online, my name is Mark, and we're going to be doing an hour of yoga practice this morning. The last few weeks we've been exploring a series of, I suppose, what you might call attitudes or characteristics or intentions that underlie Zen practice, called the Paramitas. Paramitas, 6 Paramitas we've been looking at. And today we're on to the 5th of the 6 Paramitas. We've looked at the first one, Dhyana, which means generosity. The second one, Shila, which means ethics or morality. Kshanti, which means something like patience or tolerance. And then last week we were looking at this characteristic of what they call virya, which means like energy or effort. And then we come on to this fifth one. Fifth one is called jhana. Jhana is what the word that the Buddha would have used all the way back 2,500 years ago. The word that the Buddha would have used for meditation. Jhana means meditation. So we're going to explore what that means in our yoga practice today. So in the Hatha Yoga tradition, Patanjali wrote what he called the Yoga Sutras, and he laid out what people call the 8 limbs of yoga. And I think there's quite a nice lead up to jhana or meditation inside the 8 limbs. So he talks about how we can use body movement, energy, and then we have a series of steps which lead us towards meditation. So I thought we'd follow that in our class today. So now we've had a chance to rest and find the ground. Let's start to move a little bit. Bring the hands down by your side, palms face down. Touching your fingers against the mat, we're going to slide the fingers down towards your feet so your arms go really long. And then if we bring the arms up towards the ceiling, and then oh, I've got this terrible cough. Bringing the hands up over the top of the head until your hands are close to the floor. Give yourself a nice long stretch and include the legs as well. So nice long through the body. Maybe take a nice deep breath in, stretch. And as you breathe out, take the hands up to the ceiling and then bring them again by your side. So moving with the breath. Breathing in, arms lifting up over the top of the head. And then breathing out, hands coming back down again. So let's do 4 more breaths, 4 more movements. Breathing in, arms lifting. Breathing in, arms lowering. Just moving at your own pace with your own breath, exploring this coordinated movement, breath and arms. Once you've done those 4 breaths, just letting your hands come to rest down onto the ground. So the 8 limbs of yoga take us through a kind of sequence, moving towards deeper states of meditation. We move the body, we establish our energy, and then the next step is what's known as pratyahara, which means kind of withdrawing the senses or focusing the senses. So we're going to just attempt to do that now. It's almost like we focus our attention and we withdraw into the body, into our inner experience. So next time you breathe in, we'll take the hands up over the top of your head and really focusing on the feeling of moving the arms, how it changes as it goes up over the top of the head. And then this time, if we bring the hands to hover just in front of the legs, and again, changing weight, changing movement of the arms as the hands come in front of the legs. And then reach down to the toes and let your head come up off the ground. So we're looking at the toes. And here we're really focusing on the center of the body, bringing attention into the middle, into the belly, what in Japanese they call the hara, which is our center. So withdrawing the senses. We're not getting distracted, we're really coming in. 2 more breaths. Flattening the lower back into the floor. Breathing here. Bringing the hands a little bit over the right leg lifts up in between, holding the back of the leg, and let your head come back down to the floor. Now we have this beginning of sensation in the back of this leg as we're holding it, as we maybe extend a little bit up towards the ceiling. Really focusing your awareness on the feeling in your leg, the feeling of stretch. And when we're really focused on it and we're really listening, then there's no chance of doing ourselves any injury. This is where kindness starts. This is where our practice of yoga is, in this listening. So making sure that you're not going beyond what is comfortable. So we're going to bend the knee, both hands around the knee, and just gently draw it down towards the chest, just for a little moment. Oh, hello, new sensation, different part of the body coming into focus. And then if we take the knee and just the right hand and move it out to the right side, so open out the hip a little bit, and then back to the center. And then we're going to do it 2 more times, out to the side, really listening into how the hip moves and what the sensation does as we move the knee out to the side. And then as it comes back into the center, use your other hand to bring the knee across the body and come over into a twist so that the right hand can now extend out at shoulder height, opposite direction from the knee. And just make sure the shoulder stays in touch with the ground. Now, part of the reason why we move the body in yoga is to generate sensations that we can experience and focus on. So not anything to do with stretching or becoming more strong or whatever it is. Part of it is just simply to generate some sensation in order to focus on, in order to create this pratyahara, this withdrawal of our attention onto a point of focus. So yes, we have the other benefits of stretching and strengthening and all the rest of it as well, of course. But see if we can really focus on the sensation here in your body. 1 more breath. And then we're going to release and roll back into the center. Both legs out long, hands down by your side. Touching fingertips to the mat, slide your hands down towards your feet and then lift the hands up and up over the top of the head. Nice deep breath in. Breathing out, bring the hands to hover just in front of your legs. Reach down towards your toes, let the head lift up off the ground. Looking at your toes, we're going to have here 5 breaths. Again, really focusing on the center, the really middle point. So we have the hara, which is our belly, but we also have an energy point right in the middle of the belly, which is known as the tanden. This is our energy center in the middle of the belly. And then at the end of the 5th breath, we lift the fingers, reach up over the top of the head. Breathing out again, hands hovering over the legs. And then this time we're going to lift up the left leg in between the hands and hold on to the back of the left leg. So here, waking up, tuning into this left leg, seeing how it feels. being honest with where is the appropriate place right now. I mean, sometimes it feels, especially at the beginning class, we need to be very gentle and just easing it into the beginning of a stretch. So then if we bend the knee, bring 2 hands around the knee and draw it down towards the chest, just a little bit, bringing it down. And then if we take the knee and just the left hand moving out to the left side, and really listening into the hip and the movement in the hip as we move the knee back to the center, and 3 times in total, out to the side, back to the center. And then after the 3rd time, when the knee comes back to the center, use your other hand to bring it across the body and roll over into the twist. Yeah, left hand out at shoulder height, keeping the left shoulder here on the ground. So already we encounter the next step after pratyahara. Pratyahara, withdrawing the senses, and the next step is what's known as dhyana. Dhyana is like a point of concentration, a point of focus. So we've withdrawn our awareness and we're focusing on one sensation or a group of sensations or an area in the body. And this focus point helps us to avoid getting distracted into anything else. We're just here, present, feeling what it has to offer us right now. One more breath. And then we'll roll back into the center. Both legs out long, hands by your side. Breathing in, we're going to lift the arms up over the top of the head. Nice deep breath. Breathing out, and the hands hover just in front of your legs. Reaching down, lifting up the head, so we're looking at the toes. And then see here if we can come all the way up to sitting. So we're using your fingertips as a guide as we reach, and we can bring ourselves all the way up. Yeah. Sometimes a little bit of elbows can be helpful at that point. Yeah. Okay. Nice. So we're going to come all the way over into all fours. Hands underneath the shoulders and the knees underneath the hips. So just looking down, checking that you have that alignment. Fingers facing nice and comfortably forwards, letting your head hang down towards the floor. Letting also your belly sink down towards the floor. So your head is down, belly is down, and you can maybe even think about the shoulder blades squeezing in towards each other. And the whole back is hanging down towards the floor. The head is hanging down. The only thing that's active is the arms holding us up. So from here, if we shift the weight just a little bit forwards into the hands and then arch the back, lifting upwards. And then we're going to do the opposite, just let the belly sink down towards the floor. And this time, letting the head lift up. So belly down, head up. And then we lift up the spine, let the head drop down. And then one more time, belly drops down, head lifts up, okay? So maybe with the breath, breathing out as the head goes down and the spine lifts. Breathing in as the head lifts up. So a couple breaths by yourself. So then from here, if we come back into all fours and then just move the spine side to side. So if we look around towards the right side, see if you can see behind, and then around to the left side, imagining a capital C shape of your spine. Yeah. So one more time to the right, looking around behind, and then to the left. And then back to the center. So we're going to do a sequence of movements, and then we're going to do this repeatedly to try and come into this place of meditation in our yoga practice, and encouraging anyway. So we're going to do this, we're going to kind of learn it, and then we're going to do it again and again so it becomes familiar. So we're going to sit back onto the heels and slide the hands forwards, as comfortably far forwards as they want to come. Let the head release down towards the floor. Maybe it's on the floor, maybe it's a little bit above the floor, fine. From here, we're going to lift the chest, look up, and then lifting the head here until the hands want to pull on the mat, yeah, so the arms are straight. And then we slide the hands back to the knees and let the chest go backwards. So head is down. Chest goes forwards, and we look up. And then we're going to come up onto the kneeling, and then we move the chest backwards, let the head drop down forwards. Opposite movement, chest expands, and here, instead of just going up, we're actually going to tilt forwards, let the hands come to land on the floor, just in front of your knees, tuck your toes, look up. Yeah. And then opposite movement, arching the back, head is down. Lifting your knees, so we come right back onto the feet. And then lifting your tail, we're going to come into a kind of stretch of the legs here. Hands are literally just touching the mat, so we don't have any weight in them. They're just touching. Slide your hands back to your feet, and then we'll come all the way up, rolling up to standing. Okay, so that's our sequence of movements. So we bow the head, slide down the legs, and we come back down into kneeling on the floor, kneeling on the feet, hands slide forwards. So first movement, looking forwards, look up. Lift the head until the arms go straight. Slide the hands back to your knees, chest goes backwards, head down. Opposite movement, chest forwards, look up. Lifting up off the heels, and then chest goes backwards, looking down. Opposite movement, expanding the chest, but here we tilt forwards and let the hands come to land on the floor. Tuck your toes, look up. And then we do the opposite movement, arching the back. Lifting the knees, bring the weight onto the feet. Lifting the tail and also lifting the head, look forwards. And then we slide the hands back to the feet and come all the way up to standing. Yeah. Okay, bowing the head, slide down the legs, come back down onto kneeling, onto sitting on your feet, or sliding the hands forwards. First movement, look up, lift the head, arms go straight. Slide the hands back to your knees, chest goes backwards, head down. Expanding the chest, look up, lifting up off the heels, and then we round the chest, look down. Opposite movement, expanding, tilt forwards, land the hands, tuck your toes at the same time, and look up. And then the opposite movement, arching the back. Lift the knees, bring the weight back onto your feet, bless you. Lifting the tail, lifting the head, just a little moment, and then slide the hands up your legs and roll all the way up until you come up to standing. Bowing the head, slide down. Back down to kneeling, sit on the heels, release down. First movement, lift the head. Arms go straight. Slide back. Chest down, or chest back, head down. Expand the chest. Lift up here. And then we round, let the chin drop down. Expand. Tilt forwards, landing on the floor. Tuck your toes, look up. And then the opposite movement, arching the back. Lift the knees, weight back onto the feet. Lift the tail, extend to the legs. Slide the hands up your legs and roll up to standing. Okay, coming down. Now, as we do this repeatedly, you might find you get a little bit more movement each time through the sequence in your body. Your spine begins to warm up and things. You might do, you might not, okay? So, first movement, looking up. Lift the head. Slide the hands back. Chin down. Expanding, look up. Lifting up off the heels. Tuck the tail. Head forwards. Expand. And here, as the tail goes backwards, it's like, here we go, down to the floor. Tuck toes. Like your feet already lift up off the ground, so you just tuck the toes, look up. And then we do the opposite. Lifting the knees, come back onto the feet. Slide the hands. So we look up, and then slide the hands up the legs, rolling up. And then we come down. Back onto the heels, head down. First movement, look up. Arms long. Slide back. Head down. Expanding, look up. Lift. Chin down. Expand. Land forwards. Tuck toes, look up. And then opposite. Lift knees. Lift the tail. And then slide the hands back to the legs and come all the way up. It's basically one continuous movement. Yeah, we can think about pausing in each of the points. We could just think about it as a continuous movement where we just transition through these points. First movement, look up, arms straight, slide back, expand, look up, lift, and then round forwards. Tail backwards, hands come to land, tuck toes, look up, and then opposite movement, chin down. Lift knees, lift the tail, and the hands, fingertips sliding back to your feet, and then all the way up the legs, rolling all the way up. We're going to do it 3 more times, yeah? Coming down. So we've withdrawn our senses, we're very much focused inside the body. We've got our Dhyana points. First movement, head up, arms long, arms slide back. And then we come into a kind of state which is allowing the flow. Yeah? Lifting up, round, head down. Expanding the chest, land on the floor, tuck toes, look up. Opposite movement, arching the back. Lift the knees, lift the tail, extend the legs momentarily, and then slide the hands back to your legs and slide our way up. So allowing the flow, enjoying the movement. First movement, look up, lift chest, arms long, slide back. Chest down. Yeah. Opposite movement, expand, look up, lift, and then expanding. And then we just tilt and come down. Tuck toes, look up, and then opposite movement. Chin tucks in close to the chest. Lift knees, weight back on the feet, lift the tail for a moment, and then sliding all the way up to standing. Last one. Looking up, slide back, chest back, chest up, expanding, lift, and then it's And then it's breathe in, hands come down, land. Breathe out, chin to chest. Lift knees, breathe in all the way up, the head tail lifts. And then sliding up the legs, we come all the way up to standing. Once we're back to upright, we're just going to pause here. So standing nice and tall, hands by your side. So we withdraw our awareness, we focus on our internal sensations, maybe different sensations, but we're focusing on what's going on. And we enter this place which is like a flow, which is a place of ease, which is a place of enjoyment. Good. Eyes lifting. Okay, so coming towards the front of your mat. Mm-hmm. You can take the right hand up above the head, palm face upwards, and then we come underneath, hold the wrist, and bring that arm across the body and over into a side bend. Yeah, looking up underneath the arm towards the ceiling. Now, we're going to extend this a little bit by taking this right foot and stepping it behind like this. So we've got a sort of length that comes all the way down the right side of the body, around the right foot, towards the toes, yeah, as you're looking up underneath towards the ceiling. So really focusing inside, breathing. And one more breath. So we release here, bring the hands out to shoulder height. We're going to find a little balance. So the back foot comes over and across, and we touch toes to the floor. And then if you wish, you can bend the knees and take this foot and kind of like either lift it up, or it may be also possible to wrap it around. Yeah. So focusing your eyes on the floor, really focusing. A couple of breaths in the balance. So now, like a coiled up spring, we're going to uncoil. We're going to take this leg here and step it all the way to the back of the mat. And then we turn sideways on the mat. Feet out about 45 degrees. And then we're going to bend towards the back of the mat. Bring the elbow down towards onto the knee. That's it, onto the thigh. So we take the opposite, so the elbow's on the thigh, the other hand is going to reach across the body and out towards the back of the room as far as we can, and then we come up to the ceiling, reach up to the ceiling, and then we're going to reverse it. So we bend into the other leg, elbow comes onto the knee, and we sink down, yeah? And then we reach across the body towards the other side of the room, as far as you can, then up to the ceiling, and then down to the first side, elbow on the knee. Okay, so reaching across, up to the ceiling, and then down to the other side. Reach across, up to the ceiling, and then down to the other side. Reach across, and up. Yeah, now focusing on the upwards movement, as you reach up to the ceiling, see if you can really reach almost like you want to touch the ceiling, and then we come down to the other side. Coming down as low as you want to come towards the floor. So we reach, we come up, then we come down. So we're using the breath, breathing in as you come up to the ceiling, breathing out as you come down to the side. Going to do 4 more breaths. And once you've done those 4 breaths, and we come down to the side, Then we'll just come back into the center. Stepping the back foot towards the front of the mat, coming to the front. Standing tall, eyes lowered, moment, just a sense. Good. Left hand now coming up above the head, palm face up. Other hand coming underneath to hold the wrist. Yeah. And then we're going to come over to the side. All we do is just pull this wrist over to the side. Then we take that left foot, we step it behind. So we've got this sense of the left side of the body all the way down. Maybe looking up underneath the elbow towards the ceiling. Breathing with your body, with this experience of right now. One more breath. Good, then we release, bring the hands out to shoulder height. Focus your eyes on the floor, we're coming into the balance. So we take the back foot all the way across the front, maybe touch toes for a moment, or maybe not, yeah. And maybe wrap around as far as you want to come round. Like a coiled spring, we uncoil, reach around and step back. Yeah. Wide legs. This time we're going to pigeon toe, turn the toes a little bit in, so they're slightly pigeon toed. And then if we kind of come into a forward bend here, so bend the knees a little bit, forward bend, let the hands come down to the floor, let the head release down. And then we can explore straightening the legs a little bit and see what level of straight legs is going to work for you. Maybe quite a lot bent is a nice place to start, and then we just experiment how far further into the posture we want to go. When we're really focused on our internal sensations, there is no sense of this is better, this is worse, or I don't like this, or I really like this. It's just our experience. It's just this. This is what Dhyana means in meditation. We're experiencing things just as they are. This posture, this moment, this body. 2 more breaths. So to come out of this, we're going to bend the knees, bring the hands up onto the thighs, and coming up to standing. And then take the back legs, step forwards to the front of the mat. Standing tall, hands by the side, maybe eyes lowered, closed if you like, sensing. Okay, just going to tilt the camera a bit. So we're going to explore another set of movements, which we're going to do a few times, come into a kind of flow here. So first of all, we bring the right hand up. We're going to let the right hand come forwards, down, around and up towards the ceiling. Okay, so we're just going to pause here. We've got one elbow resting on the knee, and the other hand is facing up to the ceiling. And then we're going to let the hand guide us up to upright. So we stand up, we reach up, reach up, reach up. Come all the way up, yeah? So it's almost the shoulder does a whole rotation, and then we bring this hand down until the elbow comes onto the knee. Same side, yeah, right elbow, right knee. Other hand comes onto your lower back, and we're going to lean into that right knee and twist and look up to the ceiling. Now, what we want to be aware of, just alignment-wise, is the knee that you've got your elbow on wants to be bending straight forwards and not falling inwards. Yep. So just check with that knee where it's pointing. Now, the hand that's on your back is going to slide off your back, and it's going to swing up as we come up to upright. So now we have the left hand up. Left hand falls forwards, round and behind and up. Yeah? We look up to the ceiling and we reach up until we come up to upright. And it's like here the shoulder does this whole thing about rotating around. We bring the elbow down onto the knee. Other hand onto your lower back. Lean onto this left knee this time and twist and look up. Now the hand that's on your lower back slides off and goes up. Yeah? And then it just falls like a weight. Forwards and then around and up to the ceiling. Look up, reach up, come up. And then it was like we just carry on this rotation all the way around, bring the elbow onto the knee, and then we twist and look up to the ceiling. Hand on your back slides off and swings. Whoop. And then it just falls. Forwards, around and up. Look up to the ceiling, reach up, come up, come up, come up. And then we bring all the way around onto the knee, turn and look up. Okay, now let's just come up to upright for a moment before we get into a flow. Some things, I know that from previous experience, you guys seem to be okay in the shoulders, but I know that some people might also be struggling with that shoulder rotation. So if we come down, if the hand falls and comes around and we find a place where it's kind of like really stuck into the shoulder there, we want to be really aware and move around that point. Don't feel like you have to come up. If it comes out to the side and we're just doing it like this, something like that, is going to work for your shoulder, then please just go ahead. Be really aware of that rotation. It is a lovely rotation to come all around and to unwind, but sometimes it just doesn't work, especially on one side compared to the other. Yeah. So really the whole point of this is to get into a flow, is to do the same thing again and again. So, just respecting where you need to be. Right. So we'll start with the right hand. Right hand falls forwards, round and up, look up, reach up, come up, all the way around to bring the elbow onto the knee, and then we turn, look up. Just be aware of the alignment of your knees. Hand on your lower back slides off, whoop, comes up, and then it falls forwards, round and up. Look up, reach up, around onto the knee, turn and look up. Slide off, breathe in as you come up. Breathe out, falling forward, around and up. Breathe in as you come up to upright. Breathe out, elbow on the knee, turn. Breathe in, hand slides off, comes up. Breathe out, fall, and up. Breathe in, come up. Breathe out, onto the knee, twist. Slide off, breathe in, breathe out. Round and up, breathe in, come up. Breathe out, onto the knee, twist. Slide off, breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Slide off, breathe in, breathe out. Reach up, breathe in, breathing out. Twist. 2 more times. So breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, come up. Breathe out, twist. Slide off, breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Slide off, last one. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, come up, all the way around, turn to look up. And then from here, we're just going to come up to upright. Come up to standing, maybe eyes lowered, maybe closed. Sensing, breathing, enjoying. So we're going to do just a little bit on the floor, some kind of stretching, and then we're going to come and do some sitting, because I feel like if we're looking at meditation today, we probably ought to do some meditation today, at least some still meditation, not moving. So I would suggest grabbing a cushion at this point out of the back, a sitting cushion. And if you've got something to sit on at home, it's like a meditation cushion or a blanket or towel or something like that, which you've got around or available, now would be the time just to get it. Great, thanks very much. Yeah. So we don't need the cushion straight away, so if we just put it nearby and come down to sit on the mat. Take the right leg out long. Let me come back so I'm in the view. Right leg out long, left leg tucked in. And then we're going to lean the body down the long leg here. If it feels better to bend the knees slightly as you lean down, that's also fine. I'm just going to lean down, and then the other hand is going to come up, palm face up. Just leaning over to the side. So our senses perhaps a little bit disturbed by having to go out and get a cushion or move around the room. And then we come back into the posture, and we withdraw again. We come inside, we establish that focus, we're listening in the body. We've got what's known as a Dhyana point, which is our point of concentration, our point of awareness, which might be a particular sensation or area of sensation. Two more breaths. Good. Breathing in, we come up. The long leg here is going to cross in front. We're going to come to a cross-leg position, and then perhaps taking the feet just a little bit further up and away a bit. So we're not quite so tucked in close, yeah? And then we're going to come forwards. Now, it might just be that you need to be, for your body, kind of here, resting on the hands. You might be upright. You might be a little bit forwards. You might have the hands right forwards, just depending on where the hips and your flexibility is, okay? So just leaning towards that forwards direction and just exploring, well, what's going to be, where can I just ease into this stretch? Two more breaths. And then we come up. So reversing the feet. Left leg out long, tucking the right foot in. Leaning down the long leg. Maybe here a little bit bend in the knee if that's helpful. Some people like to grab hold of the toe. Maybe some people it's cut a long way to reach down that way, but if you find it that's where your hand ends up, then that can also be quite a comfortable place to hold on. Your other hand can be palm face up as we lean to the side. More breaths. And then we'll breathe in and come up. Yeah. So long leg here comes in front. And then we're going to just slide the feet forwards a bit, so not quite so tucked in, yeah. And then on this side, it's like, sometimes it's quite a lot different, on the other side, different hips, different orientation of the legs. We just ask, well, what's going to work here best for me? How can I use my hands for support? And just easing forwards. Slowly, slowly. 2 more breaths. And then we'll gradually make our way up. Okay, so we'll bring our cushion close. There's a few easy ways to sit comfortably. One way depends on what you've got, at home and things. We've got these meditation cushions. One way would be to put it on lengthways and to sit kneeling over it. This is a very comfortable way to sit. Gives you a bit of height over the knees. Yeah, this is one way. The other way would be to sit cross-legged, and then we take the cushion the other way around and come to sit cross-legged. So either way, you might want to try both and see what's going to work. In cross-legged position, what we want to try and avoid is sitting like this with the knees up high. We want to have the knees down towards the ground. So if they're not coming down towards the ground, then I'd suggest coming into kneeling. Yeah. Ideally, we've got maybe one foot in front of the other and the knees out wide. So the point is really to be comfortable. Like, this is not a particularly comfortable place to be. It's all very a bit, wobbly. So that's the point. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Now, once we've got our comfortable posture for sitting, then we're going to just make sure we've got a little tilt in the pelvis. So it's not like sticking the belly out, but it's also not leaning back too much. It's right in the middle, so we sit up nice and tall. Crown of the head reaching up towards the ceiling. And then, as if you're holding an orange or a ball into your chest, just tuck your chin down a bit. Yeah, it's not a head hanging forwards, it's just a tuck in, so that the eyes can lower and we're looking downwards towards the floor. The hands, they can be resting on your knees. Some people like to tuck them into the lap, whatever's going to be most comfortable. With the eyes, you can have them slightly open, just looking down, or you can close them as you wish. So we basically bring the body into an alignment which invites the mind to come into that same place. The body is upright, awake, alert, but also aligned, not leaning forwards or backwards, side to side. It's right in the middle. And then we also have a relaxation in the body, in the face, the shoulders, in your hands. And all of this helps the mind to come into that same place. The mind is alert, awake, receptive, open, relaxed. And actually we realize that in itself is a false distinction to say that the body does one thing, the mind does another. The mind and the body are one, they're together. They're not really separate. So we, as a whole, come into this place of alignment, relaxation, openness, presence. And as the great teacher Patanjali wrote in his Yoga Sutras, how we can approach this space of meditation by withdrawing, by moving inside, by cutting out distractions. We establish a point of focus, our dhyana point. So here we're not moving, but there are still sensations in the body. And one sensation which I would invite you to focus on is the breath. A sense of feeling the movement of the breath in your body. And just like those repetitive movements we were doing in the class, The breath is also something very rhythmic, happening all the time, something which we can rest our attention on. We don't have to change the breath in any way, just noticing it. People say, "Oh, I can't do meditation. My mind is too busy." Well, I think that's a misunderstanding of what meditation is all about. Yes, the mind can be very busy. Yes, we can get distracted. Yes, we start thinking about something which we're doing later or whatever it is. But the point is, it's about noticing and coming back. Any time we get distracted, we just come back. Come back, withdraw the senses, establish our point of focus, and then come into this place of ease, presence. There's this lovely phrase in Zen that's very relevant to this time of year. Spring comes and the grass grows by itself. So we just arrive in this season or this phase or this moment and let things happen. Letting the moments unfold one after the other. Letting the breath come in, go out. There's nothing we need to do. Dhyana and then jhana. Jhana, meditation. We enter this way of being, not doing. Being. And in the silence, sometimes the mind just fills up with all sorts of stuff. And that's okay. As much as you can, just focusing on the breath, on this experience, the sensation of the breath coming in, going out. And any time we lose contact with the breath, just noticing coming back. we become the grass growing by itself. It's just doing what it does, moments unfolding. The word Dhyana, meaning meditation, when it got taken to China, was pronounced Chan. And then when it got taken to Japan, it was pronounced Zen. So Dhyana, our Paramita of today, the fifth of our 6 Paramitas, is Zen. That's the underlying meaning of the word. So as we come to the end of our practice together today, if you've been joining us on the Insight Timer app and you wish to offer a donation, that's quite easy. You can just click the donate button. It'll be very appreciated. Thank you very much. So we're going to bring a little bit of movement back to the body. I'd suggest swaying a little bit from side to side. Maybe take a deeper breath if you like. And then when you're ready, bring the hands in front of your forehead and take a bow to honor your own practice today. Coming up here, making this diamond shape on top of the head, and then we lay it down over the crown. Coming out to the side, we scoop up a bit of the space or the energy, bring it into the chest, bowing to this energy we've made together, practicing together. And then from the chest, we go forwards and down towards the floor, bowing and saying thank you to our teachers and all the people in history who have passed things down for us to learn today. Coming up. So thank you, and thank you. So we're on to number 5. Number 6 will be prajna, which is the 6th. So prajna means wisdom or transcendent wisdom. So that's the sort of where we're heading. Nice. Mm-hmm.